Hello and welcome to Podcast of the North. We are. This is take 2, by the way, because I am because this is the first time I've done anything like this, and I forgot to.
And it'll be the last time if I have anything to say about it.
I forgot to record the audio for Jordan, so it was just me talking to myself for 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. So
Let's see if we can beat that. Let's do it
quicker.
trial.
Let's do it quicker. Right, so quick introductions. I'm Annie. I'm Jordan's wife. I'm a musician. I'm a new streamer, so I do music on stream. I also play some games as well. I'm going to be streaming today, actually, even though you don't know what today is, when today is, but
Today's in the past.
Yeah, today's in the past. So yeah, I'm fairly new to streaming. I work at Lush, so I sell bath bombs and cosmetics and things like that. And I am pregnant.
What?
So I'm currently 26 weeks pregnant, and I am feeling it. Take it away, Jord.
Hey guys, I am JordOfTheNorth. I'm a full-time Twitch streamer from the northwest of England, a little county called Cumbria. I play a variety of games. At the minute, I'm mainly centered around community types of games, just because I'm lucky enough to have like a really thriving community, and they all just nag me constantly, just like, play Among Us, play Phasmophobia, play this, play that. They just constantly want me to play games. So you know what, I'm a pushover. I play a lot of community games, and I have all my social medias and everything. I suck at YouTube, but you know what, I keep trying. I have a pretty active Discord server, which is where they all nag me to play the games that I do play. And yeah, the only real important things about my life is I'm a full-time streamer. I spend 90% of my free time at computer, doing things for stream, doing things for social medias. I have a beautiful wife, Annie of the North. I have a baby on the way, and I have a lovely little whippet doggo called Luna. And other than that, my life's pretty open book. And yeah, we thought, let's do a little podcast, because the amount of nights we've spent, hours and hours of thick, heated debates, almost borderline on argument, but usually we're quite good at staving off the arguments, and just keeping it, it's quite, we kind of stimulate each other a bit, but not in that kind of way. We stimulate each other intellectually with discussion. So let's do a little podcast.
Yeah, so we just thought we might as well podcast it. Let's have a crack on podcast.
And what is the podcast about, Annie?
Christmas in the North. So
Christmas in the North, Annie?
So it's funny because you're looking somewhere else. You're beautiful.
No, for me, you're this side. Am I this?
Yeah.
So I should look this side? Oh, you've ruined it.
Your beautiful wife's somewhere else.
Oh, my beautiful wife over there. Woo, looking good.
So obviously Jord is Jord of the North. I've just copied him, took his name, as you do as a wife, Annie of the North. So when I say Christmas in the North,
She married into it.
Yeah, we mean in our household, the Lewis Skipper household. Yeah, we wanted to have a little talk about Christmas because it's nearly time for Christmas. It's in a few days. We just did our Christmas grocery shop today as well.
Lots and lots of shopping. Honestly, I think we were kind of dreading it, but I think we did a good job.
Well,
I think we got everything.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe too many things.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a lot of money, but we're gonna have food for days.
Yeah.
We're gonna have meat for days. It's
gonna be good. It's gonna be
good. It's gonna be definitely good.
So we're super excited for Christmas.
Yeah.
We have a slightly different Christmas to a lot of people. I know that everybody has like a different Christmas, though. Everybody kind of tweaks it and they have their own traditions.
I don't know. Most people I know have the exact
Christmas. Same. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like go and see all your family, spend thousands of pounds or dollars on presents, eat lots of food, get food for other people to eat, get presents for everyone, receive presents from everyone, drive really far to go and visit people, like all those kind of things. That's not how we roll in the North.
No, but we will get to that.
We will get to it. Don't rush into it, Annie. Calm yourself down.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about Christmas as children.
A wee bairn.
Let's go back to basics. Let's go back to the beginning.
Tell me about your Christmas when you were a wee bairn.
So for context of my Christmases, I've got a mum and dad, both my biological parents, been together forever. They're a team. And I've got...
So pretty much she's probably one of very few people who doesn't come from a broken home.
Yeah, no, my home is not broken. Growing up as a child, my dad had a really good job. He was a scaffolder. And my mum was a stay-at-home mum, so she was always there with us. I have a big sister who's 2 years older, a little sister who's 3 years younger, which meant that growing up I had the best of both worlds. I grew up with my big sister, but I was able to stay like a child with my little sister, which was ideal for me. And yeah, I probably do have middle child syndrome, not gonna lie. But
I mean, I'm a middle child as well, but I don't have middle child syndrome, so that's okay.
No, okay. And yeah, like our Christmases were very centered around religion. We brought up Roman Catholic, so it would be all around church services, which for me made it really special. Actually, I really enjoyed the religious aspect of Christmas. I enjoyed the church services. It was where I kind of honed my talent. So I played violin and I sang in the church. And then as I got older, I did readings and built my confidence that way. So the church has got a lot to answer for who I am today, really.
I think the church is really good at like encouraging musical exploration. Like I think there's a lot of people who, exactly like you, just started off playing guitar for a church band or playing drums in the church band and things like that. And I feel like, although really like a church will only have one church band, I'm always surprised to hear how many people played music in church. Like I think it's quite a productive place to sort of grow musicians.
Yeah, 100%. Especially because I'm really folky, and church music can be really folky as well. Especially,
I mean, it's not the first thing you think of.
Well,
when I think of church music, like, like very classical, actually.
You 100% peaked there, so I don't know if the listeners
Ear bleeds.
heard that beautiful beautiful voice.
Jesus heard that. It was so
but
good.
I tell you what, I could hear it in this room from the next room, so you probably
nice.
got some audio on that. But yeah, no, there's a lot of folky music. It's not like fiddly diddly folky music, but yeah. So it was all around religion, and then obviously on Christmas Day we had lots of presents, big pile of presents each. Lovely Christmas roast dinner. And then we'd sit and watch the ballet in the afternoon.
Ballet?
Yeah.
I feel like most people on Christmas, they'll watch like what was that one? I feel like I remember my family used to watch like some sort of like medieval like there was like a guy who used to wear like a loincloth, and then like I don't even know what it's called. I need to find out what this is called. There's a guy in a loincloth with a sword. Okay, no, I don't know.
No
and he's
idea.
trying to do stuff. He's trying to like save the world.
Is he trying to do stuff?
I feel like I don't know.
No idea what that is. No idea.
All right, okay. Maybe
like,
watch Home Alone. I don't know.
My little sister would be playing with the toys. My big sister would be like, all moody, listening to music, and then I'd be watching the ballet with my mum. And that's...
You don't do the Queen's speech or something's on Christmas Day?
I mean, yeah, we probably watched it.
Is that a thing? I don't ever recall hearing the Queen's speech, but I recall that it was happening.
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, you go.
All right, my go. Okay,
Yeah.
so as a wee bairn when I was growing up, context. I don't really remember pre mother divorce father Christmases. I think I was maybe like 3 or 4. I do remember times before that, but I don't remember the Christmases specifically. But yeah, so around the age of 3 or 4, my mum and biological mum and dad separated. We went to live with my mum, and for a while she was just a single mother, and she she did her best to make sure we had presents and food and enjoyed it. I don't really recall too much about that time. It was around the time I was probably like 6 or 7, and my mum remarried to my stepdad, who's no longer my stepdad or my mum's husband because he's gone as well. So that's a whole different nest to figure out. But yeah, that kind of childhood there between the age of like maybe 6, 7, 8 and like 12, 13, 14 for me was very it was very specific. I remember it really fondly. There was lots of food, delicious food. There was it was kind of just like almost like a Hallmark, definitely not Hallmark, but it was like just a nice Christmas time where, we'd have a nice big tree. We'd have, a big pine tree with all the decorations. We'd have the presents under the tree. I mean, some years we got like the living room was nearly full of presents. Some years there was a lot less. It was just hit and miss. I don't really know. Maybe it was because like if I was getting like a GameCube or if I was going to get like 200 pairs of socks, I don't know. But I just remember it really nicely and very magical, Christmas decorations around the house, good food. The presents were, I mean, I'm personally right now, I'm not a fan of presents, but back then, I got some cool things. I got like a Stretch Armstrong, and I got like a Tony Hawk remote control pro skater. I still think about that to this
Me
day.
too, yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of just normal, I have my mum and my stepdad at the time. I had an older sister who's 4 years older than me, an older brother who's 2 years older than me, a younger sister who's 2 years younger than me, and then another younger sister who's 10 years younger than me, but she's not a younger sister anymore. She's a younger brother. Yeah, I think back then it was kind of like it was like a nice time, and it was normal. Like the change for me came after that when more things happened and unfolded and changed my life, and that's sort of because like if I was just basing my Christmases now upon that, I'd probably do Christmas like everybody else because that's how we did it. But I don't do that now because of reasons, and we'll get onto that soon. But I'll back to you.
Yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of a chat about like so we've got like the context of like what Christmas was like for you as a child. I think it's really important to talk about that for us because like when I talk about how I feel about Christmas now, people are a little bit like, what happened?
You beaten?
Like, why? Why do you want to do it like that? And what we're doing is not revolutionary in any way or shape or form whatsoever.
I think it's revolutionary.
Like, it's not revolutionary in any way, but yeah, it's. I think it's interesting to like look at the context of how Christmas is. I do really want to know though what like your favourite Christmas memory was. What was your favourite like bit of Christmas as a kid?
You go first.
All right, okay. Have a think. I mean, for me, actually, my favourite part of Christmas was Boxing Day.
That's not Christmas. What?
It is though. There's 12 days of Christmas, and it's.
Are they not before Christmas?
No, Christmas Day is the first day of Christmas.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Boxing Day is my favourite. Was my favourite. Now, not so much. Boxing Day is a bit of a crap day now. Isn't
What
it?
is Boxing Day? It doesn't
Like,
really
what
do
do we
anything.
do?
Other than like get cheaper things sometimes.
Well, yeah, but we're not really bothered.
But we don't
about
really
that,
like things, so maybe get some
Yeah.
cheap flowers. Cheap flowers, maybe some cheap chocolates.
I mean, the past couple of years on Boxing Day, I've gone to see my family, which has been nice.
yeah.
But as a kid, growing up, Boxing Day, all the pressure of Christmas is gone. Do you know? Like, I got to a point in my life where I really struggled with the pressure of Christmas. And I mean, like, I was going through some kind of like mental issues anyway, but yeah, like I can remember one Christmas, everything was just so overwhelming. Having to like pretend to be so happy about every single gift, and like having that build up of pressure of buying so many gifts for other people, and worrying if it's enough, worrying if you've got them more than they've got you, or the vice versa, and have you made them feel bad for not getting you as much, and thanking people for gifts that you didn't even really want. And
I feel like you hit that point earlier than me. Like I don't know. It was kind of normal. Like I was kind of like, okay, well, I've got to pretend, and it wasn't a big deal for me. I knew about it like from quite a young age. I knew like, pretend, like, you seen that little kid who opens up the things like, avocado, and he's like, he's pretend, I was very much like that. And it's like, it wasn't like that. That wasn't a pressure for me, but obviously for you, maintaining that was, you were very in your head about it and thinking about it, and the pressure of that and the other things.
It was a really big deal for me, getting the right presents for people, and then it would really stress me out getting stuff I didn't want or didn't need or wouldn't use, and then it would worry me that I would never use it, so why have I got it? And so yeah, like there was one particular Christmas where it was just all a bit overwhelming for me. Couldn't even eat my Christmas dinner because I know, because I was just looking at this Christmas dinner and I was just like, I just don't want to eat this. I really struggled that year. So Boxing Day became my favourite day because everything's over. It's that sigh of relief day. You've opened all your gifts. You
can play with your favourite ones, and no one will think that you didn't like the other ones. They'll just be like, oh, she enjoyed that one. That's great.
Yeah. And like, we personally went to my nana's. She put a nice big spread on with buffet food, which is my favourite.
Oh, you're obsessed.
And with my state of mind at the time as well, buffet food was perfect because I could just pick little bits and nobody would be like, are you going to finish your plate? Do you know? So it was.
I mean, that was a staple. Like we'd get the slipper if you didn't finish off. You didn't finish your plate. There wasn't, nobody was watching what I was eating either. So it was really just a nice sigh of relief. So for me, that was a very long-winded. That was very long.
Favorite Christmas thing. How about you?
So for me, it's got to be between two things. It's either got to be the food, like Christmas dinner. I feel like now we have mastered Christmas dinner because we've done it so much for so long. I feel like, when you get those mothers who are just really like, or like even dads, like some dads who are like really handy in the kitchen. They're just like, they know they've done it for so many years that they just got it perfect. I feel like we're at that point. We weren't always there. We kind of had some issues along the way, but I feel like the food, I feel like I've taken from my growing up, you've taken from yours, we've taken from Google, which was great to learn recipes, and we've just got this great thing now. So the food then was just like, I mean, you didn't have to make it, which was amazing because somebody else, your mum was just like, here you go, and you'd be like, no pressure, and it was great. So it's between the food. And actually waking up on Christmas morning was like really exciting. I feel like that's like an excitement you almost can't replicate. And I don't know if you'll ever have, like, I don't know if you could ever have that. Like when you have your
No.
own kids and
Yeah.
they're waking up, you're probably just like, oh, let me go back to this.
I don't
But it was
know.
very,
We
I
might
don't
be.
know. We'll
It
find
might. We
out. We'll
might
find
like. It
out.
might ignite our excitement of Christmas morning, which we don't
Mhm.
see
No,
anymore.
we don't. We just have a lie-in. We'll just maybe
Yeah, it's
wake
like,
up,
oh,
put some
whatever.
food
Get
in, and then go
up.
back to bed for a few hours. But yeah, I feel like the Christmas morning excitement it's like iconic, you know, and it was every year. It felt great. Well, a little bit less as like the older you got, I was a bit more just like, but as a younger, it was I think the Christmas morning and all the food, or both.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. I think that's a really good, um, nice things to think about for Christmas. Okay, so now we're going to talk a lot actually, probably, about
Probably a lot.
about
We like to talk.
Yeah, we're very chatty. About our Christmas now. So, you've heard about our Christmas growing up. Very traditional, lots of presents, lots of pressure, lots of running around. Even right up until my early 20s, I would be buying gifts for every single member of the family.
Friends,
Colleagues, in every Secret Santa going. And then I got together with Jordan, and then I started taking on the responsibility of getting presents for all of his friends and family and colleagues and Secret Santas.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest,
I am
men
flaky.
aren't bothered.
Okay?
Like
I
men
am
aren't bothered,
flaky.
are they?
I'm not bothered. But I had a reason, and the reason was I knew what I wanted. Okay, I knew where I wanted to be. I knew. I had a vision of our Christmases now, and I seen what our Christmases could be, and I knew that I didn't want to do everything. I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we got rid. I mean, I broke her in. That's what happened. I got her. And I broke her in to my vision of Christmas. Slowly but
I don't know.
surely.
I just can't. I'm inclined to disagree. Right.
All right. Anyway, tell everyone what we do for
Because,
Christmas.
well, so now our Christmas is very much we do not give any presents and we don't receive any presents.
De nada.
We don't really see anybody over Christmas.
Nope. Don't come to our house.
We don't go out on Christmas Day. We don't visit people. We don't. It's very insular. It's a very antisocial Christmas.
Yeah.
I give Christmas cards to my closest, nearest and dearest.
I don't. It's just useless piece of paper.
Well, you do, because I do.
Yeah, but like...
They're from you
I
as well.
wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Jordan wouldn't, but I give Christmas cards to my nearest and dearest as a little bit of like thinking of you at Christmas time. And I know my nana and granddad and my other nana enjoy getting a Christmas card off us, which is nice. And it's taken us 8 years. No, it'll be less than 8 years. It'll be probably
like
about
five
yeah.
years.
So it's taken us 5 years to get into people's heads that we do not want any Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
And that they will not receive them either.
Yeah.
Also, that we will be having Christmas dinner alone. We don't want any visitors. We will not be visiting anybody. And we will be very antisocial for the whole of Christmas. And
that's the definition of quality time.
so it's not exactly like the most unique idea in the world, and it's not revolutionary.
I imagine a lot of introverts might do this, but we've like purposefully introverted, even though we're kind of not introverts too much, but we've like introverted Christmas, and we've introverted, we've combined that with removing obligation. Because for me, that's what the giving and receiving of gifts is. There are people who are like, I just like to give people things, but that's their belief. Mm-hmm. That doesn't include how that makes the person receiving it feel. And in society, we've been trained to feel obligation. We've been trained to, if somebody gives you something, you want to give them something. You want to show gratitude, and you want to return the favor if you can, which creates obligation. And it's been really instilled, this obligation of like, well, I'll give you this and you give me this, and like
Also,
it's.
I think those people are lying.
I think they are a little bit.
I think
Yeah.
the people that say, "I just want to give," are lying. They want
Unless they're really
receive.
rich. I do know like people who have a lot, an abundance of things, and they give to people who don't have an abundance of things, and they don't do that with an expectation. They do that because they feel like, I have this and I want, and it makes me feel good to give. But generally, the people who are always complaining about how much money they have to spend at Christmas and how much all these presents have cost them, they've just been shopping and spent thousands of pounds on presents, and they bought this for you, they bought this for and they go, oh, I just like giving. It's like, no, you expect in return, and it's obviously not everyone, but generally they expect in return, and it's not even conscious because they are only a victim of what we've all been trained, which is the cycle of obligation around giving and receiving presents. So yeah, I kind of wanted an early stage. I kind of like initiated. When we got together and we were like spending time, I was kind of like, how about we don't just like give each other things and give, because I started off with me.
Oh my
and
word! Yeah.
it was just kind of like, because the first 1 or 2 like Valentine's Day.
It was
and
actually
birthdays.
It was actually our first Valentine's Day together that you discussed this with me. That for our first year of being together, because we'd been together from the Christmas time. So in the February was Valentine's Day. And I can remember you made me a really lovely meal. You came into work, my workplace, with a lovely big bunch of flowers, and you treated me like a queen. And I can remember sitting down at that little table in your little flat, and having this discussion of like, I think we should get each other gifts this first year because it's new. But how do you feel about not doing it after that?
Yeah, I think we went through a few iterations of it as well, but that was kind of we started a process from there. We did go from like initially, I think the first step we took was to give experiences that we both could enjoy. So it's like, we'll get gig tickets to go somewhere, or we'll go on a trip to a spa instead of, so we were just, I mean, it was quite early on that like both of our money was just our money. And like, it wasn't necessarily like, I'll spend my pocket money from my mum and dad and you spend your pocket. It was very much just like, well, there's this together. Money. Yeah. So like early on, I just knew like, I don't want to have to somehow think about all the things that you wanted or maybe wanted. Because what I realize is, if I want something, I will just get it if I want it. And if Annie wants something, she can just get it, or ask me to get it if she wants it. And I would rather be asked for something and get Annie it than to like have to guess on a specific day of the year and plan for this. Because I feel like, again, there's just too much. There's just too much there, and I just think you don't have to celebrate your love for each other on one day of the year. You can just do it for the whole year, the whole year, just little acts and little things to remind the other person that they are very meaningful to you. That's nicer than like just ignoring each other practically. Obviously people don't do that, but like the only time they'll treat each other is like on a birthday, on a Valentine's Day, and on a Christmas. Like that's it. Like that's the only things you get in: birthday, Valentine's Day, Christmas. And I'm not going to buy you anything. I'm not going to do anything for you. I'm like, unless you've done something wrong and you feel guilty and you were like, oh God, you got the guilt flowers. Like, please forgive me. But yeah, I think we started off quite early to break out of that cycle, and it took us a long time.
Not us with each other.
No. For each other, like
agreed and then didn't do it, didn't we? Like,
yeah,
we didn't like surprise each other with, oh, by the way, I've got you a Valentine's gift, because that would have just been really unfair. But
we did have to phase the cards out because you obviously you've got this. You have a lot of sentimental attachment with cards, and I'm like you have it, and then it's useless.
But I keep all my cards, so I've got a big box of cards. But it's interesting though as well, because we made the decision together, but we've got different motivations for it. In that I feel like you're a little bit like, I don't want the obligation, I can't be bothered, and it's like it's like a thing where you just don't want to have to think about it.
I think for me, I understand the stress of doing all those things and going Christmas shopping and guessing, because like I had years, like I had probably like 3 or 4 years where I was in a place where I could buy people things, and it was very much like get like you and your siblings. So me and my brothers and my sisters, we would get each other a card, and they would put like 20 quid in the card and give it to them. But then they'd give me a card, and the card had 20 quid in it, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? It's like that's when you know it's just obligation.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no reason behind it. It's all fake, you know. And then the whole like you say to your parents like, oh, I don't want any presents for Christmas, I just want money. Like, do you remember that? Like, that was a thing, and I felt like that was kind of a strange thing as well. Like, because there was you were making your parents feel obligated to give you money, because it was Christmas. How weird is that? That we're training generations of kids to like grow up and have an expectation of their parents that they will get things, and it's not just. And I think that's why I'm completely over Christmas as like a giving season or whatever. It's been
for me like the whole it's the whole culture of giving and receiving. For me personally, I feel very uncomfortable receiving gifts. Very uncomfortable receiving gifts off people, and oh my god, it's even worse when they're like, open it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be like, cheap body lotion I'll never use. And it's that whole like, I find it so stressful and uncomfortable. It makes me anxious. I'm feeling a little bit anxious now, like imagining that scenario. Yeah. And then it's that realization when you open it and you're like, oh.
What do they expect my reaction to be?
But then also there's that feeling.
Or like, what did I get them?
I only got them a bath bomb. And they've got me loads of stuff.
Yeah.
And then again, like going back to the point I made earlier, getting stuff I don't want or I'm not going to use ever. And then it's hanging around the house. And I mean, like, I throw out stuff that's useful in this house because it's in my way.
Don't leave any Apple headphones lying around, guys. Annie will throw them in the bin because she's never seen me use them, so that's it. Doesn't matter if they're Apple, in the bin.
But if there's stuff lying around the house that we don't need and we don't use, and I haven't seen anyone using it for a few weeks or months, I'll be like, it's going, it's leaving us, it's going. So that's basically what I want to do with all of them presents. I'm just looking at it as, I'm going to have to put these somewhere and they're going to have to be here with me. And it's really ungrateful and I don't care. It is.
No, well, we don't have to deal with that because we don't do it anymore. And I think that's the beauty of it, is like, to some people it seems like barbaric, like, to say these things. even if they're feeling it in themselves. But the point is, we don't have to experience any of these emotions that don't make us feel good. And then now, and that moves on to like our Christmas now, which is, we don't do any of that. We have no obligation to visit family, no obligation to give or receive things, no obligation for anything. Like, don't even have an obligation to like message your family. Sometimes I'll message my family, sometimes I won't. It's not like, it's not an obligation. Like, I have to phone my parents at midnight on New Year's Day to wish them a happy new, like, no, these are obligations that people get built into their lives. We don't have that. We have no obligation. And we just get up whenever we want, eat as much delicious Christmas dinner food as we could possibly consume, drink as much delicious Baileys and alcohol drinks of Christmassy goodness that we would like to drink.
Oh, the alcohol.
Now we've got a slight obligation that we have to take our dog for a walk, but we can enjoy that, a Christmas Day walk anyway.
Yeah.
But like, we don't have to experience any of that negativity. So all of the good things about Christmas are so much gooderer. They're
Yeah, they're
so
so
much
much
better
better.
because we don't have any of the like stress or like the thing. Obviously, I mean, there's the argument of like, you know, the 5 day old sock argument where, you know, if you've had some foisty socks on for 5 days and you finally take them off, you're like, oh. And that could be said for like the stress of Christmas, and then you finally sit down on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, like that was your experience of it. Was you sat down on
Yeah,
Boxing Day and you had that the 5 day old sock
yeah,
feeling of like, oh, finally, no pressure. We just don't have that because we don't have any pressure.
yeah.
It's great.
But it is interesting to touch on how our families kind of reacted to this, because it's been a rocky
Chaos.
road.
Yeah.
And there's been a few disappointing Christmases.
Yeah, yeah.
So like my advice to anybody that wants to follow us, if it sounds like you
On our new religion of no Christmas obligationaryism.
yeah, like if it sounds like the Christmas we enjoy is perfect for you, you just have to ride the waves of it. It's taken us 5 years. Yeah. We've had a couple of Christmases. We had one Christmas where just Jordan got presents, but not me. Everything was just addressed to Jordan, even though we'd been together for a few years.
Yeah.
From Jordan's family, and then we had. I'm trying to think. I mean, my family accepted it really readily, which I was really surprised about, and they actually did the same with each other. So, like, my mum and dad didn't really buy presents for each other anymore. But my dad used to get my mum the exact same pair of earrings every single year. And it was getting to a point where she was like, Paul, I don't need the same earrings. They last for years. So they decided to stop doing that anyway. And when I'd said to my sisters, like, do you fancy just not getting anything for each other? They were like, yes, let's do that. And then that's carried on. And even now, they don't get presents for each other's kids. And then when we have our child, we won't get any presents for our nieces and nephews as well. And we'll just kind of keep that pact between us. But your family still struggle a little bit with it.
Yeah, sometimes. I feel like they don't.
Last year.
Yeah, I don't think they struggle with the fact that we're not going to give them anything. I think the issue is, I feel like it's my biological dad's side who I kind of reconnected with, and I think that's mostly down to guilt of being out of my life for so many Christmases, that he just feels like I need to give you something.
Yeah.
You know, but there's never an expectation. Like, he's never like, you didn't get me a card for Christmas. Like, I feel like there's no more of that. It's very much just like some people, it's just so deep in them to give a present for something, or like, the issue is, I'm one of, 5 siblings, and when people are getting all of them something, or 6,
including you.
Oh yeah, including my stepsister.
Kaylin, yeah.
Yeah. So if because people are getting presents for all of them, they think, oh, like, it's weird for them to not get something for me.
Yeah.
But I really don't want anything,
No, me either.
Yeah. We did try a thing one Christmas where we waited to see, and we were like, people who've been like, oh, I've got you a present. We were like, I told you not to get us a present. And then what we did was we just got like a very thoughtful gift that was exactly the same for everyone. We just like got we got multiple of something. It was a coffee mug with chocolates and like nice little thing. We tied it up and wrapped it up really nice. And we like gave that to the people who had already got us things.
No, we just got everybody one.
Did we just get everybody one?
That was the last year we did presents.
Last year we did presents, and it was a good reason, yeah.
We were managing our own coffee shop. We were stressed out. We just moved house.
Working 80-hour weeks.
Didn't even have a Christmas tree. Your mum came over to the house and helped us like get the house ready for Christmas. She locked me in a room, being like, not locked me in a room, but she's like, you get
the wicked stepmother.
You get your Christmas presents sorted, we'll get the house sorted. So we kind of worked as a team, got that all sorted. And we gave it to people, and some people were like, oh, that was really nice, that was really thoughtful. My nana and granddad still use their mugs. but a member of the family was like, eh.
Cheapskates.
Cheapskates.
And we were like, we told you not to give us anything. And so yeah, that was the last year. It's over.
I think the important thing for me, like that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because it was actually really expensive in terms of effort and time and thought and
I mean, go on the internet now and try and make a customized mug and see how much it costs you. It's not even cheap.
It wasn't even about the money. It was expensive in like our effort, and it was too expensive, and it just turned me bitter.
Okay, so we kind of did touch a little bit on like how we got to this place where we are today. How have we got to a place where we don't give each other any birthday presents, any anniversary presents, any Valentine's Day, any Christmas? We don't give, family and friends any birthday presents and Christmas presents, and I don't know what. I feel like some people in America will give people like Easter presents and Halloween presents, and I don't know what you guys
absolutely, absolutely, especially for like grandchildren and stuff.
But yeah, we don't do like any of that kind of thing. And how did we get here? So you kind of touched on like the stress of things. Do you want to go into a little bit more detail on like where, other than the fact that obviously I kind of showed you the door and you just walked through it?
Well, no, I mean it was all kind of building up until that really stressful Christmas where we were running our own coffee shop. But it all kind of began for me that Christmas where I couldn't eat Christmas dinner, and I just felt very stressed about it all. It was just too much for me, Christmas. But I am like the kind of person as well that forgets birthdays. I'm so forgetful, and it's not because I don't care about people or that I'm not bothered about when they were born. Maybe I'm not bothered about it.
I mean, why is people bothered about when people are born? It's kind of weird, isn't it?
I think birthdays are so special for people, but like, I'm the kind of person I forget about things, and it's not out of badness or maliciousness. But there's so much pressure to remember so much stuff all year, and to get something that's like, that they want, and that suits them, and oh my God. Like, even on my birthday, I don't want anything. It stresses me out thinking about birthday presents as well.
I mean, like, not on your birthday, you always tell me all the things that you want. You do want things, but just not on your birthday. You just want them.
No, I want things that I want, that I'm going to use, that's useful to me. And that's maybe a little bit selfish, and it kind of takes the fun out of gift giving. But I feel like nobody knows me well enough to know exactly what I want.
Not even me. I feel like half the time, I mean, other than the things you like do mention, which I understand in relationships, and people, they'll make mention to things like, oh, I want a PS5, or oh, I'd love the PS5, and then the other half's like, get him a PS5.
Yeah.
And then, but I also feel like there's bad versions of that where there's like people who are like, oh, I love that new game. Oh, I'd love that new game. Oh, I'd love that new game. And they're mentioning it purposefully because they want someone to buy them it. And it's like, it's so like that I feel like it can go in a bad way where people just, it's more expectation for things. One thing that I always thought with you is, obviously, I mean, it's a different topic mainly, but the whole when you were having trouble with mental health, it was quite heavy on like guilt and things like that. And was the gift giving and receiving and like the pretending to be happy for gifts and the expectation, was that linked to like the guilt like inside of you for those things?
Yeah, 100%. Like I think obligation is guilt based.
Yeah.
And so anything that you're obligated to do, I kind of rebel against it a little bit now because of that horrible, anxious, heavy guilt feeling that I feel when I'm not good enough.
I think that's what it is with like when you miss a birthday or you forget a birthday, and that weight of guilt can come back, and then you're like, oh my God, I forgot the birthday. But but we've kind of alleviated that a bit in that we don't really do anything for birthdays and we don't think.
I still send a card to my family for birthdays.
But even that's still, I feel like we can work on that. We can get rid of that, you know?
I don't think that'll ever
Let's
happen.
get rid of that, because if you forget to, guess what you feel? Guilt.
How about you? What was the straw that broke the camel's back for you?
There wasn't necessarily a straw that like made me like go be like, I hate this thing, but I do think that the realizing the pressure and the stress and almost the stupidity of it for me, like I was able to see that like objectively from away, like while I was giving people things and receiving things, like I was looking at it like, this is so stupid that I have to remember to do this like this many times a year, and then on this birthday and on this, and it was very like, so like I kind of was aware of it for a while. So my middle ground where things changed for me was when my mum and my stepdad, who like brought me up, separated, and I ended up being in a homeless hostel for like youth homeless people, and I think it was like a good 2 years, I didn't really like have anyone or anything. It was almost nice because it was like not people who would usually, it was like, oh well, I just send a present to, you know, my mum's house for Jordan or whatever. Like that wasn't a thing anymore. You know, it was because I just turned 18 on like that Christmas time probably. But it was very much like there was like I didn't get as many things, and even then when I did get them, I'm like looking at these people who are like my family and like who were trying to give me like items, and I'm looking at them like, I am in a homeless hostel for young homeless people, and you are giving me socks for Christmas again on like Lynx deodorant, you know, Lynx Africa. And it was like very much like, it was a kind of surreal moment where I was just like, this is farce. It's stupid. It's why do people feel obligated to give me Christmas presents, but like not care that I'm in a homeless hostel almost. So I think that was kind of like a stepping point for me, and it did take me.
I'm gonna interrupt you a little bit there because I can remember that Christmas, because that was that was kind of the Christmas that we got together, but didn't like, you had a girlfriend at the time. But I can really like distinctly remember you got me a Christmas present that Christmas, and we were really close friends, but very memey. We were very memey friends. So
I got like a bunch of random things.
Well, you went to the pound shop and you spent £20 on me, and you got really big items and a few small items, but you put it all in this big massive bag, and honestly it was ridiculous. This big huge bag. I can remember you giving it to me. I had to get my dad to come and pick me up because there was so much stuff, and that was like, it was horrible for me at the time that I received it.
Oh, that was a great present.
No, hear me out. It was horrible for me because I'd got you one little thing and I handed it to you. Then you handed me this big, huge bag of stuff.
See, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he's going to hate the gift that I've got him. I can't even remember what I got you.
I can't remember what I got you.
I think it was maybe like a Michael Bublé CD or something.
Yeah.
So it was something really meaningful and really special that you would have loved.
Yeah.
And you gave me this big, massive bag of stuff, and I was like, oh my God. And I can remember going home and my mum was like, I think that he fancies you. And I was like, I don't know. I don't understand. But obviously I had to wait till Christmas Day to open it. But I can remember at that point, you were looking at this gift, obviously knowing what was actually in it, which was just a bunch of crap. It was an absolute bunch of crap.
It was, right,
it
okay.
Nearly went in the bin. I'm not going to lie. It was just like 20 of the most random.
I'm fairly sure I got you like Backstreet Boys.
Yeah,
album,
a Backstreet Boys CD.
I think Blue maybe was in there.
Gosh. It was just the most random stuff that you could possibly find in Poundland. But I can remember you looking at the bag and knowing exactly what your intentions were for that. It was to make me laugh until I weed myself on Christmas Day, which my entire family did. It was brilliant. And like, I didn't know your intention for that gift because I was like, flippin' heck, this is a lot of stuff. And I can remember your girlfriend being really angry about it, about how much you'd got me.
I can't even remember.
She was really, really angry. And so I think that it's interesting to explore that as well, because like, she was angry because she didn't understand, because to her that amount of gifts meant something totally different. And that is why sometimes gifts, I don't know what my point was. I don't know where.
I think the point is that we probably spent a similar amount on each other, but you still had a feeling of like anxiety and guilt when you passed me, and I passed you multiple items because you weren't able to track. But for me, I had never felt anything in, like, I didn't feel guilt or like, in fact, I don't even think I expected anything from you. I just got like I went to Powerland, I was like getting these different things and just thought, you know, because I was kind of over gifts at that point, and I was just like, you know, if I'm gonna spend 20 quid, I'm gonna make it memorable. And guess what? You remembered a bag full of crap.
But it is interesting to think about the thoughts behind the gifts and like just giving people stuff just cause. But while they're in a homeless hostel, it just feels stupid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And even like your girlfriend at the time giving you a gift and then being like, oh, by the way, you can't come to my Christmas dinner with my family because they don't want you there.
I'm going to go home and leave you.
I'll leave you alone in a hostel.
And I'm like, thank you, have a good time.
Thank you, bye now. So yeah.
Thank you. Next. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next.
And then that was a big deal for me that Christmas because I completely ruined tradition by inviting somebody to my house. So yeah. So this Christmas, the Christmas this year for me is going to be very, very, very different from what my Christmases
past
normally are. With this pandemic, I'm on furlough because it's not safe enough for me to be in the shop. Anybody that's been in a Lush shop will completely understand what that means. Even with a limit of 4 people in the shop, it is
too many.
Busy. It is just.
And you are pregante.
Yeah. So for the past 4 years, I've worked in Lush for Christmas, and before that, for about 9 years, 8.
Lots of years. Pretty much, you've worked. I think for your adult life, you've worked in retail, and obviously, anyone who's worked in retail knows you either get absolutely ridden over Christmas, or you have a slightly easier Christmas. And then ridden over New Year's.
Yeah.
So pretty much the holiday season is lots of working, I think. Lots of
working. So before Lush, I worked in the coffee industry. So Christmas was really, really busy as well anyway. I've always worked in a retail kind of hospitality environment at Christmas time and busked on the side for a lot of Christmases as well and gigged on the side of that. So Christmases are very, very, very busy. It's only the past couple of years I haven't really had Christmas gigs. And even then I've still had gigs on my own. So obviously I was in a band, which we will touch on another podcast. So it would be gigging with the band, busking on the streets, working in retail, and then doing all the other stuff that comes with Christmas. But just a little insight into really what it's like to work in Lush at Christmas time. It is my job as a sales advisor is helping people get presents for other people, which is ironic really when you think that I don't do that, but I'm actually really good at it. I'm really good at learning what people's needs are and finding them something really nice to get their loved ones. I'm really fortunate in Lush though, because the customers they're just a different breed of customer. They're not quite like the Costa customers that feel a little bit self-entitled.
Yeah, there's a lot of stressful memories of very horrible people treating you like crap at Christmas time, especially because they're Christmas shopping and the shops will be closing and they've been waiting in the queue for 10 minutes because everyone wants a Christmas coffee and you are doing it too slow and they're going to speak to your manager. You're
But
useless, penny pusher.
But interestingly enough, and this was something that you always said to me, Jordan, it's like you can't be mad at those people because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's going on in their life. Yeah. You don't know like where they are. They could be buying Christmas presents for everybody to spend Christmas alone.
Yeah.
And that is a real issue. A lot of people spending all this money and all this time and rushing around before Christmas, only to be alone on Christmas Day.
Like I know a lot of like separated families with like dads that don't live with the kids or the Christmas. The kids will go to the mum's house and the dad will be alone, or the vice versa. And just people who sort of like the forgotten people who grew up and moved out of the parents' house and then kind of just got forgotten on this, like they just went onto like a little island of their own, and they still try to keep in touch with the general obligations of like, I'm going to buy these guys presents and these guys. And even then they might get presents, but that doesn't make you feel better when you sit and opening them by yourself on Christmas Day. I think I've kind of gained a unique perspective as a Twitch streamer on the different variety of people out there. And I think like Twitchmas, or like Twitch at Christmas, and getting to know people and like how they're going to be spending Christmas, and how people feel about Christmas, it's crazy because you don't obviously see that when someone's shouting at you because you've run out of a certain gift at Lush or something. You don't see what their experience is, whereas what I see is people coming in, they'll donate money or give me subs and then be like, so they're giving a gift and then being sad because they actually don't really have any family or they don't have anyone to spend Christmas with. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I generally try to stream for a couple of hours on Christmas Day, because even if like I'm the only familiar face who like, because they're part of my family to me. So if I'm the only person that they see on Christmas that they recognize, at least they get that, and they get the people in the chat who either can relate, or some of them don't relate because they all have family and they're really busy, but they make the time to come in because they know there's those people who don't have anyone. So I feel like being kind to people, especially because you don't know, in retail specifically, being kind to people because you don't know what they're going through. But obviously, you should definitely be kind to retail workers, because if you're not kind to retail workers, then they're doing most of the hard work, and you get treated like crap by the company most of the time. You get treated like crap by customers, and they don't really get too much praise for the hours they work and the stress they get put under over Christmas. But yeah, also be kind to people you don't know who, maybe are a bit angry, and, just a little bit of kindness goes a long way, especially at this time of year where people are feeling lonely and stressed and obligation and guilt, and they're feeling all these feelings. You'll feel much better if you remove that obligation and guilt though, guys. So I will tell you that. But yeah, I think I'm quite happy. I think we've covered a lot of good topics.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you feel? How do you feel like the little talk's gone?
Yeah, good. I think we've touched on some interesting things. I really enjoy discussing them anyway.
What we could do is we could do like a Q&A thing, like a response video. If we get a bunch of people who's like, what about this? What about this? We probably won't, because let's be honest, we're really concise.
Yeah.
We're really good at our points and not missed anything. But if anyone's got anything that they think, they'd be like questions they'd be interested to, we could maybe do like a thing where we get like all the questions and then we'll like answer them all and do a little talking as well.
We could do a stream, chat show stream.
Chat show stream. We could do that.
But But yeah, it'd be good to get some feedback if you've enjoyed this podcast. If you've enjoyed listening to us gabble on about Christmas and our lives.
Hey, it's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid. Don't forget, guys, Annie of the North pretty much is on most of our handles. You can get her on Twitch, on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud. Are you Annie of the North on SoundCloud as well?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, so on SoundCloud, you can get all those things. You can find me, Jord of the North, on everything. You know, TikTok, tic-tac-toe, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. You can find me there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today. I'm Jord. This is Annie.
Yeah.
And we are the North.
We hope you have a lovely Christmas. Don't forget to tune in to Jord of the North's Christmas Day stream, especially if you're at home and you're alone and you want to be part of the community. The Discord is a really great place as well to connect with people, which you can find anywhere really on Jordan's social
go onto my
handles.
stream and scroll down. There should be Discord somewhere.
But yeah, we really hope that you've enjoyed this little podcast and have a lovely Christmas. Bye.
Bye.